What's up, and welcome to Clarity for Parents of Athletes, bringing you stories from professional athletes about their parents and how they were raised. My name is Gabe from aclearmind.com. All right, and welcome to episode number 41. As always, I'd like to start off by thanking you for listening to the podcast. I hope you are enjoying it, and if you are, I would really appreciate it if you would write a review and rate the podcast. If you listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, which seems like most of you do, just go to the episode page where you can see all the episodes and scroll all the way down, and you can write a review and rate the podcast as well. So I really appreciate that. If you want to get a list of where else besides Apple Podcasts you can listen to my podcast, go to my website, aclearmind.com, and you can click on the podcast link. So as always, please also subscribe to the podcast so that way you don't miss any of the episodes, and also share it with people you think could benefit from it. There are amazing stories from all these athletes, and I hope that you find the episodes with just me very helpful as well. So a little bit about me. I'm a transformative life coach. I work with individuals in private sessions over the phone. I also work in small groups. So if you have a parent group or a group of friends who are interested in working with me, I do those on the phone as well. And I also do in-person workshops, which I'm, of course, really looking forward to getting those going again as soon as we are past this period of time of physical distancing. Now, I work with professional athletes, but I also work with parents. I work with weekend warriors. I really am open to working with anybody. So even though you may not be a professional athlete, please, if you feel the pull, reach out to me and we can connect and schedule a free clarity call. So you can go to my website again, aclearmind.com, to find out a little bit more about me. Now, this episode is a really unique one. It's with somebody all the way across the world right now. His name is Mohammed Dauda, and he is a professional soccer player. He's originally from Ghana, and when he was very young, he got a professional contract with a big Belgian team called Anderlecht, and he was loaned out last year and also this year to a club in Denmark called Esbjerg. He's also on the under-23 Ghanaian national team, and I'm sure has a big, bright future ahead of him with the full national team in Ghana as well. So he's a goal scorer, striker, and he's a really, really nice young man, and I hope you enjoy this episode. As always, make sure and listen to the very end, and I'll give away some takeaways and tie together the episode and go into a little bit more depth, which is related to the work I do as a transformative life coach. All right, enjoy. All right, Dauda, thanks so much for your time today. You are currently in Denmark, and I wanted to check in with you since we're recording this during the coronavirus pandemic. How's life been for you since you stopped playing a couple months ago?
Yeah, well, thank you for hosting me over here, and like you said, last couple of months, it was really strange, with this corona pandemic issue, and for the first time in I think a long while, everyone has to stay indoors. You can't go out. Even if you go out, you must have a specific a reason for going out, maybe to buy something, which is not usual or normal to to the world. But it's like this. Sometimes sicknesses and viruses can come, which might be dangerous to the human life. So we need to take safety precautions in order not to contract or attract this disease. So last couple of months, it was really hard from the beginning. But when time goes on, when time goes by, we became used to it, so we took it normal. And now, fortunately, it's becoming better and better. So now everything is starting to open up. So basically, it's like this. So
good. So you're getting back to normal. That's great to hear. So what have you been doing the last 2 months by yourself while you're just kind of waiting at home?
Well, last 2 months. I've been home, tried to do some, personal training in order to stay in shape till this Corona comes to an end. But it's not been easy because to be inside all day for the past 2 months is really difficult. But now day by day now it's getting better. So now we are starting to open up and we're starting to go out. So it's good.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I'm glad for that. Yeah, it can definitely be tough being isolated, and I imagine especially in a foreign country, away from your family as well. So now that you're back to training, what does that look like when you go into training? What's the process when you get there, and what training looks like? What do they do to make sure that you're being safe and that others are safe?
Like if this virus is still not over, or we don't have a cure for it yet. So yes, still you have to take your safety precautions in order not to, contract these viruses, But now, before every training, we have some kind of, questions that they normally ask before every training. You have to answer it 2 hours before every training session. So you answer is basically about your health condition for the day. They want to see if, like, they ask questions about how do you feel? Do you feel headache? Maybe some kind of nausea, your temperature and everything. So they want to be sure whether you can train train normally in the group or not. So after this, at training we still keep in the beginning we still kept our 2 meter distances from each other. But before you enter on the field, we have some hand sanitizers and everything just at the entrance. So before you enter, you have to use your hand sanitizer in order to keep clean and not to infect or not to contract this disease.
Right. Wow. And then so you played this weekend, and I can imagine it must be really strange to play in a high level game when you're used to crowd noise. Now all of a sudden it's quiet there, nobody's in the stands. What is that like to play in a game at a professional level like that?
Yeah, like I said before, it's not normal. As we've been professionals, and we've been used to the public voice, the noise, and from the fans, everything. So, and because of this situation, we have to play the games behind closed doors, no fans around. So it's like once we are playing, you feel like something is missing. It's like something is missing because the fans' presence also, brings some kind of confidence and some kind of motivations. But at the moment, there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to, cope with this situation now till maybe this Corona issue is totally off, and then we get back to normal.
Yeah, which hopefully will happen someday. Has the league talked about when fans may be allowed to go back to games in Denmark?
No, for now they haven't said anything about it yet. So maybe I think maybe for the rest of the games till the end of the season, maybe we're going to play without fans. Maybe hopefully the start of new season, that's where maybe they're going to implement some kind of laws on how maybe fans can come to the stadium. But I think for now and for the rest of the games, I think we're going to play without fans.
Yeah. Well, I think we all look forward to the day when fans can come back, but we are also excited that we get to watch football again. So, and I can imagine that you're very excited to be on the field again. So I wanted to go back in time to a time that's not as intense and different and more of what we're used to. So you're from Ghana, and I wanted to get a little bit more knowledge about where exactly in Ghana you grew up, what your family was like, what your youth was like growing up there in Ghana.
My family are basically from northern part of Ghana. The vicinity is called Larbanga in the northern region. But for me, I was born in Suhum. It's also in the southern sector of Ghana. Suhum, like a small village in Suhum called Nifio. That's where I was born, and I grew up. I school over there. I did everything over there basically. So it's because of football that I began to travel around the country, to play. So that's where I grew up. My mom is called Hawa Hussein, and my dad, who is unfortunately no more, is late now. He was called Mohammed Dauda. So in all, I have five siblings,
Wow.
two girls and three brothers. So basically, we have a large family, and
Yeah. So what was it like? Where are you in the birth order? Are you oldest, youngest, in the middle?
I'm the third born. I'm the third born.
And so what was it like growing up with so many siblings in your house?
Africans, we love to live together. Like we basically have large families. So sometimes some of your brothers can get you really agitated. They can just try to disturb and all this. So sometimes you will fight, but it's part of life. So it's nice. It's nice growing together with your family, with your siblings, and everything. It's with your parents. It's nice. Sometimes it's really entertaining because sometimes you just play together, you do everything together. It's like this. So it was really nice.
That's amazing. So when did you start playing football, and did you play other sports also?
When I was in school, I think I only played football, but sometimes when it comes to track and field, like running, I used to help my school in 4x100 relay. Yeah, that's what I do apart from football. So
And what was the fastest you've ever run the 100?
in 100, I don't think I I can have the time at the moment because like in Africa it's difficult to keep like records like this. So, but basically, in maybe as I was becoming a professional, where we used to do like sprinting, like 30 meters, 10 meters. That's where maybe I know the fastest I did. But whilst I was in school, then I don't remember, or I don't think they even have the records of the time anymore.
Right. So do you think you could have been under 10 seconds?
Well, if maybe because like I said, when I was like from becoming a footballer, like we used to do sprints like 30 meters. So if you compare my my 30 meters, minutes with my 30 meters time, maybe with training I can also run maybe less than maybe 10 seconds or so because with my 30 meters, I ran 3.64 seconds. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. So if maybe with training and these athletes too, they have their own way, professional way of training. So maybe I could have passed through this kind of training regimes, maybe I can also do my best maybe to run like a little bit faster.
Right. So how did you get introduced to football?
Yeah, like I said, Africa, we play when you are a kid, you play like street football, like with friends, and sometimes in school. So in Africa, like this, in school, we used to play inter schools, everything. So when you play like this, they get to select the good ones, and they try to you try to represent, the district. Then you travel to different places to play amongst schools also. So there you play to the highest level, to the national level, where like it's basically the whole country. So a lot of people come there to watch. So like whilst we were in school, like playing like this, there were people who were seeing us play, but we were young, so they couldn't make the follow up. So after some time, then I was there, and one guy called me like this. Yeah, he once saw me play when I was in school. These days, so he's trying to maybe form a new football team. So he would like me to come and maybe play some kind of justify your inclusion. So I said, okay. So I went and I played this justify your inclusion, and lo and behold, I was selected. So I started with this team, like it's an amateur club. Like in Ghana, I don't know how it's like. Maybe in Europe, it will be like a third division, also. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I started from there. I played there only one season, and after the season, the man said, yeah, through because of my performance, if I stay here for long, maybe it might, spoil my career. So, or I might not, progress really well. So, one of the biggest club in Ghana, uh, they are playing some kind of also justify, So he wants to take me there for trials because I'm still young. So if I go there and they 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 take me, maybe um, they can develop me really well because it's a professional club. So if and I was still young, so they can develop me really well. So I went to these trials, and they were interested in me, so they took me, and they took me to their academy. So I spent only 6 months with the youth, and I got promoted to the first team to start training with the first team. This, and after some time, and I begin to get some minutes with the first team, a little by little. Then one time, some of the players got injured and some were suspended, so they didn't have any options than to play me. So God being so good, in that game I took my chance. After the game, I scored, and I was man of the match in the game. Then the
Oh,
next
wow.
game, I played another 90 minutes, and I was man of the match again. So from there, I never sat on the bench again till I left the club.
Wow, that's great. So how old were you when you went from the youth club to the first team?
I was 15 years when I was in the youth. I started with the youth, you know. But Ghana like this, because it's like a stepping stone. So they usually play with a lot of young guys. So I saw them like they were my age mate, even though some of them were older. Some of them were a little bit old. Some of them were right like 25, 26 thereabout. But I saw them like it's football. We all have to be on the field. So I started with them in the youth like 15 years, and then around 16 years I got promoted. So that's where I started training with the first team. Then after some time I was getting a minutes like 10 minutes, 5 minutes like this, little by little. Then one day I got my chance and I took it.
Wow, that's great. So when you were a youth player and even when you were playing at school, what was your relationship like with your parents in football? How did they help you, or did they help you, or did you just do your own thing?
Honestly, it was really difficult with my parents about me playing football, because honestly they didn't wanted me to play football, because African parents have some kind of mentality that maybe they only think it's only school that can make you become successful in future. So all that they know is you have to go to school, nothing else. So in the beginning they didn't wanted me to play football. All they wanted me to do is just be on my books and study. But everyone has his own dreams and his passion. So everything about me was football. Everything about me was football. So from that, when you are a kid like this, when your parents say something, you can in the beginning you can't disobey them like this. So you try to play along, try to be like, okay, I'll go to school, but at the same time try to sneak sometimes to go and play. You see, so that's what I was doing in the beginning. In the beginning, where it came to a time where my dad died, and so basically it was like he was the head of the family, so he's no more. Then my mom sat me down and she asked me, so now what do you want to do? I said, already, I've already said I want to play football. And she said, no, when your dad was alive, he wanted you to, go to school to become, uh, to become, he wanted you to go to school so that in future you can also have a good job and live a good life. And I said, yeah, I know. School can also, help me to become a good person in future, but I also want to play football. But what she said was she said like it's difficult especially in Africa here, particularly where I come from, where I was born, because it's like a village. Like this is the Sumu municipal is like at that time it was like some small town, and I was born in a nearby village called Nifio around there. So it's like they think chances there is minimum, So if you say you want to play football, who is going to help you or who is going to push you? So it's difficult. So it's better you shouldn't take this risk and waste your life in spending time playing football without studying. Otherwise, what if in future maybe you don't become success in football? What will you do then? I said in life, everything is all about risk taking. So you have to take risk. If you want to become successful, you have to sometimes take risk, So then she said, and I asked her, so now if you want me to go to school, you are also not really working. So who is going to support me with my school bills? Then she was there and she said, yeah, when the time comes, we will find a way. I said, no, I can, also put myself into school and I will be struggling back and forth with school bills and all this. It will also distract my attention because you have to come for your school fees. You haven't paid your school fees. You will not even feel stable in school. So it's better I take what I want to do. Then she said, okay, if that's what you want, then it's okay. So that's where she got to start supporting me with my football career.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So how did she support you in your football career when she finally accepted that that's what you wanted to do?
Yeah, from there, if I tell her I'm going to play football, she said, okay, yeah, just go, good luck, and just take care. So when I got to maybe go to the team, the team I started playing, the amateur, the third division club I started with, they were in Accra. Mm-hmm. I think 1 hour drive from Suhum, where I was born. 1 hour drive from there. So she would just give me some pocket money she would just give me pocket money to be using when I'm there. So in case I'm hungry or whatever, I just use it to buy food. So that's how she was supporting me, and every day she would try to call to find out how is everything going on over there.
So you left the house essentially to live in Accra?
Yeah, I left the house to live in Accra.
Wow. And how old were you?
I was 14, almost 15 years.
Wow. And who did you live with?
It's like this. Like in Ghana, they would just rent, a big house. So all the players, all your colleagues, we will all be sleeping in the same room. So like I live together with my colleagues over there.
Wow. That's incredible, and I think it's something very different than what a lot of people experience here in the United States. So this is amazing to hear just the drive that you had. So what do you feel when you were a youth? What do you feel drove you to want to become a professional football player?
Yeah, when I started, it's like this. I said to myself, look, your parents wanted you to go to school, to become to get a better job and to be a good person in future. And now you've chosen this path. You've chosen to play football instead. So what your parents wanted you to do, you didn't want. So now you are doing this. You have to prove to them, or you have to make them proud. Like the decision that you took, it wasn't a bad decision. You have to do it and make them proud. So I said to myself, hey, you have to work very hard to become because football is all about hard work. You can't just sit home and just relax and think you can become successful, because it's not like in the 80s or in the 70s or early 90s where football was only about talent. Now football is talent as well as hard work. If you have the talent and you don't work hard, you can't go far. So you have to work hard, to achieve what you want to achieve in your career. So I said to myself, I have to work extra hard. So every day at training, when we close from training, I have to, from where we live to the training grounds. I think it's about 3 kilometers or so, 3 kilometers. So whilst all my mates will be, like they will be driving, they will be in a car going, they will take a car or Uber going to training. Me, I would rather prefer to, jog from our place to the training field, and after I have to jog back again. So that's what I was doing. So, and lo and behold, it was really paying off. After the season, the manager said, "Yeah, your performance was really good. So he would like me to progress enough. So he's taking me to the biggest club arguably the biggest club in Ghana is Asante Kotoko. He would like to take me there for a trial. So if they are interested in me, maybe they can develop me really well because it's a good professional club. So it was me only that he took amongst all our players over there. So you could see how like my hard work was really paying off.
Yeah. So where, it sounds like really you were the one who pushed yourself and you had this work ethic.
Yeah, like I said, you have to push yourself. You don't need someone to come and push you because it's all about you. At the end of the day, if someone push you to do this on the field of play, maybe he might not be there to push you like that. So it's football. In life, all depends on yourself, what you want to do. So someone can even sit down, can give you everything, but if you are not willing, or you are not willing to do whatever you want to do, or you are not really focused on what you want to do, there's nothing you can do. You have to push yourself. You have to work harder. Otherwise, there's nothing someone can do. Maybe the person can support you, like financially, can buy you everything, everything about football, everything you need to train. The person can do everything for you, but it's all left to you, because on the field of play, that person cannot be on the field for you. You have to be on the field. So it all depends on you. So if you want to become like a professional like this, you have to push yourself. You have to work extra hard for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Where do you feel you learned that? Or is it something you just had inside of you already?
It's like maybe at some point I would say maybe it's inside me, because once I was young, I used to watch English Premier League. So I really said to myself, I also have the talent. So one day I'll definitely play in this league, because I always watch football, and I see the excitement, all the players, like what they do on the field, like they enjoy what they do, and the people are around all over watching. So I said to myself, I'll do whatever I can to also play in this league. So it's like that's where basically I took my inspiration from, So I'm working towards playing in English Premier League. So it's like I'm still have a way to go. I haven't reached my destination or half of my career yet. So I'm just working towards it.
That's awesome. So it's amazing to hear the excitement that you had at such a young age. Now, what was your relationship like with your siblings? Did you guys all play football together in the streets?
Yeah, we play, but my younger ones, they are still young, so they also play. Sometimes when I go back home, we used to organize maybe some kind of games that we all play together. They are also playing, so maybe they also want to become professionals as I am now, but they are still in school. So maybe after school they will try to find a good clubs for them to start from there.
Mm-hmm. How much did street football help you to become a professional?
Street football, like, it's basically like it's all about raw talent. Like, you just play for yourself. No one is there directing you. The kids just organize it yourself. Like, you just divide you into two and you just play normally. Like, it's basically like no direction. No one is there to coach you or to do this, do like this, do like that. But we just play. It's all about your talent that you have, which you use on the field of play. But the only thing that can help you is make you strong. because there's no referee who will just whistle for foul or whatever. So yeah, so it makes you, strong, and it makes you mentally, strong and physically. So
Yeah, you have to learn to be tough, right? In the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
streets.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But that can take you very far. I think even to the Premier League with that mentalities, you have to be
yeah,
tough.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're with this club in Accra, and then how did you end up going to Anderlecht?
Yeah, so the club in Accra which I played was Global Stars FC, and from there, like I said, I played there 1 year, and they took me to Asante Kotoko, but they didn't sell me to them. They just gave me to them because I was still young, and they just strike, an agreement that maybe if I get an offer, maybe outside, they have some kind of percentage in my transfer fee. So that's what they basically did. So from Asante Kotoko, I was playing there. I played there, and then whilst I was playing Asante Kotoko, I had call up to the national under 20, Ghana national under 20, and we were playing. So that's where Anderlecht came. They scouted me, and they started to speak with Asante Kotoko about my transfer, and then everything was finalized, and I have to move from Ghana to Belgium.
And what was that like to leave your home country, to be further from your family in a completely new country? What was that transition like for you?
Yeah, in the beginning it was really exciting because I was really excited because everyone wants to travel abroad. Everyone like I said before, all my ambition is working towards playing in English Premier League. So like leaving Ghana to Belgium is like some kind of one step ahead. I'm getting closer to my ambitions or my dreams. So I was really excited in the beginning. But when I came here, although I'm still excited, like I'm still happy. I feel proud that I've been able to come to this stage. But the problem now is being far away from your family. That's a little bit challenging because it's not easy to leave your family far away like this and to be here alone. Be by yourself and everything. It's sometimes really difficult, but that's the nature of the job. That's what I've chosen to do. So I can't complain. I have to live by it, and basically that's why at every holidays I have to go back to Africa to see my family.
So does the club or do the clubs out in Europe, do they help players like you who are from Africa and have their family further away? Do they help you in some way to, I guess, make it easier for you to transition?
Um, Ever since I came to Anderlecht, like maybe you have to go to maybe you have to go to the club. Like yeah, you go to the club and speak to them. Yeah, I want my family this. I want my family to come. But like I said, my it's left with only my mom, and I don't know who to bring over because if my mom lives there, maybe he leaves Ghana to come to Europe here. It will be only with the kids, and they will also struggle over there. So it's like basically I'm going to take the responsibility to be like the father of the family. So and every father has to work and struggle for the family. So I said to myself, if I don't know who to bring over, so I have to wait and let my mom take care of them over there so that they can at least also have a good future. She can also direct them, or she can also take care of them whilst they are there. So for me, I will just sacrifice and just be here. So I didn't go to the club like I want you to help my family. But now, from now on, I'm just starting to plan like bringing them all over just for some kind of holidays or vacation, just to also come here and then see how like things are going or how I've been living here for the past years.
Wow. Yeah, because like the transition piece, I can imagine can be very difficult, not just with family, but also with language. So what have they done to help you in Europe? Because you haven't just been in Belgium, you've been with some other teams as well on loan.
Yeah, yeah. With the language, fortunately for me, every country that I've been so far, some of them or the coaches who have passed through, they also speak English. So like normally the communication hasn't been really difficult for me because most of them, like I've been to Holland and I'm now in Denmark. They can also speak English. So basically, communication is not a problem.
So, but when in training sessions and before game and halftime, what language are they speaking?
No, it depends. If they are if the players are among themselves, that like the Danish people, they speak their language like the Danish. But when we are together, like all of us are together, we all speak English.
So that does make it a lot easier then. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's good. Have you tried to learn any language, any Danish while you're out there?
No, no, no. I haven't.
Not yet, right? It's still
Not yet,
time.
not yet. Yeah, yeah, not yet.
So, yeah, what has it been like when you were at Anderlecht and then you were loaned out to, now I think a couple other teams. So, what has that been like being loaned out?
Yeah, in Anderlecht, it's a big club and they buy a lot of expensive and experienced players. So basically, when you go there as a young player, it's really difficult for you to get enough playing time. But when I was there, I was getting like few minutes to play. Sometimes start a game, but it wasn't enough. If you want to progress, you can always sit on the bench and play maybe 15, 30 minutes. For a whole year, it will not help. So my agents said to the club like this, they want me to go on loan where I can be playing, active football 90 minutes every day, every week. So that's where we got to choose to go on loan to other clubs.
Yeah, that's actually something I see. I'm in a Facebook group with parents, soccer parents specifically, and people ask questions. And there's several thousand people in this group, so there's parents with different levels of experience. And one question that I see many times is, my son's not getting playing time. He's on the best team in his club. Should we put him down into a lower team so he can get more playing time? And people have different opinions, but it seems like even at the professional level, it's better you learn the best if you're playing as much as possible. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. At the professional level, playing every week is the best option because you cannot be on the bench like this because it makes your market value goes down and no one recognize you anymore. So it's better for you to go to, like, let's say, like in Belgium, Anderlecht is the biggest club, maybe like is the biggest club in Belgium. So basically, if you are not getting playing time, you can try to go to one of the lower clubs, like maybe the middle clubs in the league. You can go there and be playing all the time. It helps you also, get uh, game fitness. It helps you, acquire a lot of experiences and all this. So it's really helpful if you are in a team where you don't get much playing time. It's better to, you know, move a step back, to get playing time and, come to the top again.
Yeah, that's how you learn is by doing, right? And the more you do, the more you play in games, then
Yeah.
the better you get, right?
Yeah.
Magic
Yeah.
formula. So
Yeah.
how where do you want to see your career going in the next few years?
Like I said before, my in when I was young, I said to myself, I will surely play English Premier League one day. So that's what I'm working towards. So I'm just hoping in the in the next couple of years, maybe just aiming to be in the English Premier League.
Which team?
Now, now is difficult at the moment, but let's see. Maybe as time goes on, we'll see. Because football, you never know. You can say this team for now, but maybe they might not show interest. Maybe it will be a different club. So we will see.
Right. But if you have a dream and there's no limits to your dream, which team do you want to play on?
Maybe Tottenham Hotspur or Liverpool.
Why is that?
With Liverpool, I just love how the fans, they really stand behind the team when they play at home. The fans are really amazing. So I just love their fans and just wish maybe one day I will just play for this club and also have the feel of this kind of atmosphere in Anfield. So.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
So why Tottenham then?
And with Tottenham, I like Tottenham because when I was young and I was watching English Premier League, I liked them because they also like to sign a lot of African players. So I thought, maybe this is a club where when you go there, it won't be difficult because you can have a lot of African brothers over there who can help you adapt in the club easily. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I wish you luck getting there. So that'd be amazing to see you.
Thank you.
So I have a few questions. I call them lightning round questions because they're a little faster. But feel free to take your time with these questions also. So who is the best player you've ever played against?
The best player I've ever played against? I think Frankie de Jong so far.
Wow. Yeah. Where did you play against him?
When I was in Holland, it was a league game against Ajax in Johan Cruyff Arena. Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure it was a great experience.
Yeah, I think last season, where they were on, last season Ajax was really on fire. So it was really a difficult game for us.
Yeah. What was it about him that made him so special?
With him, he's smart. He's comfortable on the ball. He reads opponent's mind. Before the ball comes to him, he already knows what to do with the ball. So it's really difficult to tackle him because you can't stay with him because he's some kind of I don't know how to even express it's difficult to stay with him because the moment the ball comes, you would think, I'm with this guy before he will either release the ball once or try to turn from you all of a sudden. So before you realize you are not close to him anymore. He doesn't stay at one place and he also reads the game really well.
Yeah. Yeah, those players at a different level, they are very special. So it's great that you got to play against him. So who is, in your opinion, the best Ghanaian player ever?
Best Ghanaian player ever. For me, I've heard a lot about the likes of Abedi Pele, Tony Yeboah, Tony Bafo, Mohamed Polo, and all these great players. But I didn't, because I'm young, and unfortunately I didn't have the chance to watch them. So, but I've heard a lot about them, I've learned a lot about them being great players. So it's difficult for me to say now, because unfortunately I didn't, have the opportunity to watch them whilst they were playing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
You'll stay neutral there. Then.
Yeah, I have to stay neutral.
Okay, so let's expand a little bit. Who's the best African player ever?
The best African player ever. For sure, I would definitely go with Weah because it's unbelievable for an African to win Ballon d'Or. So far as he won it, definitely he's going to be African best player.
Who did you say? I'm sorry.
George Weah.
Oh, George Weah. Oh, yeah. Yes. From Liberia.
Yeah, from Liberia.
Now the president of Liberia,
Yeah,
right?
now actually he's the president.
Yeah, that's great. So who is, this one may be a little easier for you to answer. Who is your favorite player while you were growing up to watch?
Ronaldo, Nazario da Lima from Brazil. Yeah.
The original Ronaldo.
Or people, people used to say this original Ronaldo. Then it shows like it sounds a bit like word to Cristiano. Say original Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's better to mention the full name so that everyone will know this is the person you are talking about. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I imagine that's who you're talking about, but I'm Brazilian, so I can figure that. So what did you like most about him?
When I was younger, like I was amongst my colleagues, like I play similar like him, like I score a lot of goals. So even I didn't. It was my colleagues who gave me the name. They didn't say Ronaldo, but they only said like they gave me like Ende Ronaldo. Like they added some kind of some name in front before adding the Ronaldo.
Ah.
Like it's like the new Ronaldo. So they said Ende Ronaldo. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. I didn't give the name to myself. It was my colleagues who were giving me that name.
Well, good. That means you deserved it then. So, what is the best team you've ever played against?
The best team is Ajax. Still Ajax. Last year, they were really amazing. They were really amazing.
Yeah, definitely. What is your favorite Ghanaian food, and describe it?
It's fufu and palm nut soup. Yeah.
Okay, I know what that is, but can you describe it for other people?
Yeah, it's the fufu is basically made with cassava. Yeah, you just boil the cassava and just pound it, and it will be like some kind of how do I say this? I don't know how to say this. Like it's some kind of
like a dough ball almost.
Yeah,
right?
something like that, but a little bit starchy,
Mm-hmm.
A little bit starchy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically like this, It's cassava. You just boil your cassava, and then after boiling, you pound it, and it will form like this, like some kind of, dough or some kind of this kind of dough with starchy thing. So
right,
and
you
then
pull it off and you dip in the soup, right?
Yeah, and then you put off and you dip in the soup. Yeah. So I like it with palm nut soup.
Nice, delicious.
Yeah.
So, if you never played football before, what would your dream job be?
Maybe I would have been a teacher. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, because for me, I like to, help younger ones, try to teach them how to do, how to be on their own. Whilst I was young, sometimes amongst my colleagues, sometimes I try to, even though I was young though, but I try to, teach them on how to do this, how to do that. So I think like being a teacher would also be in a perfect, example of what I was doing whilst I was young. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. What is the most difficult thing about being a professional football player?
The most difficult? Well, I don't know about for me personally, the most difficult part is leaving your family far away to live all by yourself is the most difficult part. But maybe it might sound different from the Europeans and the Americans because basically they live together with their family and maybe they will play around their city and everything. So maybe they might not feel what I'm going through because it's difficult for me to leave my family far away in Africa and be here all by myself without my family. it's really difficult. For me, that's the most difficult part.
Wow. That's great that you sound like you play a lot for your family in your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So do you play FIFA video game?
Yeah, I do.
Now, do you play with yourself on the FIFA video game as a character?
Yeah, sometimes when so I just like do random choose. So I just click and they will choose for me. So when it select the team that I'm playing, yeah, I just put myself and I'll be playing.
And is your character in FIFA realistic to how you play?
Oh, some parts, yeah.
Uh-huh. Which parts
Yeah.
are realistic and which
Like
parts are not?
my speed, um, my ball control. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So here's a last question. What kind of advice do you have for parents who are raising athletes, whether they're football players or in other sports?
Yeah. What I would say is now football has or sports in general has become a global, a global thing in the whole world where everyone is following. So if you have a kid who is into sports, who wants to become a professional in future, you just have to support your kid. Try to be there for him or her, to support her in every way. Try to support him. Sometimes you have to encourage him or her to go to train. Sometimes you have to also take him around. Try to train with him. Try to play with him. Just try to encourage him or her to have like to make the person feel like, yeah, what I'm doing, I have the blessing from my parents. Like in Africa, for instance, at first it was a bit difficult because African parents didn't want their kids to play to do sports because they think it's only school that can make you successful in future. But now I think they are having the second thought about it these days because they know now sports is now a good business or a good thing that you can invest your kid in. So it's good. They have to try to support them, try to stay behind them in terms of difficulties and everything. Support them, whatever they need that can improve their performance, that can enhance them, and also try to stay with them on how to eat good healthy food in order for them to stay in shape. Not always try to maybe the food that the parents like they will try to cook at home. Maybe it might not help the kid in terms of sports. So basically, they should help. Try to also adjust to all all this, and also try to sacrifice the food that they will cook at home. Maybe the parents might not like. Maybe they might like to eat this kind of fatty food and this, but since the kid wants to become professional, all those food will not help him or her to improve. So she or the parents also have to sacrifice in this way to help their kids to become professionals.
Yep, that's a big part of being successful athlete is the nutrition side. So I think that's amazing advice. Awesome. Dauda, I really appreciate your time today. Best wishes to you. Stay safe in Denmark, and I hope to see you playing with Liverpool someday or
Okay.
Tottenham. But I prefer Liverpool for myself personally. I prefer the way they play. So best wishes to you in your career, and I hope to stay in touch.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
So what were your biggest takeaways? Now, as usual, there's so much amazing information in the stories of these athletes, and I'll try and pinpoint a couple that really struck me. Number one was the fact that Dauda had to go sneak to play soccer, right? He's the one who wanted to be a professional player. His parents did not want that. Now, just let that sink in. There's so many parents today that want their kid so much more than the child actually wants it to either be a professional or even a college level player. And I get it, right? Especially at the college level. Parents in soccer and different youth sports, there's so much investment financially that a lot of parents naturally want some kind of return on an investment, whether it's a college scholarship or a professional contract, right? But again, one big thing all these players had in common was that they had the drive inside of them. It was rarely the parent that needed to push them. They had that internal drive. And in order to do that, in order to let the child have the drive, they have to have that intrinsic motivation. And again, if you haven't listened to episode number 39, go back and listen to that with Gina Riley. And she gives tips on how to help build intrinsic motivation for children. And a big part of success for a child is them letting go of outcome. Because outcome is something that's in the future. Anytime you're in the future, you're not in the present. Anytime you're not in the present, you're not able to perform at the highest level. It's when we're totally immersed in what we're doing is when we are successful. And the best way to do that is to let go of outcome. Now, that's the player side. Now, you can imagine, of course, if parents can learn to do that as well, that would really, really benefit the child tremendously. Now, something else that I took away from this interview is a question that I read a lot about in the Facebook groups that I'm in, and also that parents ask me as well, and that is playing time. Should my child be on a better team where he or she is not getting enough playing time, or should they go down to a lower level team in order to get playing time, even though they'll be the best on their team? Now, I can understand the conflict on there, but you can look at this, for example, right? Dauda signed a professional contract with the best club, or one of the best clubs at least, in Belgium, but he was not getting playing time. So they wanted him to go down, essentially, to a lower level professional team. And it's harsh to say lower level because he's still playing in the Netherlands. He's still playing in Denmark. He's still playing in Europe professionally. But the biggest difference is he's playing 90 minutes over there. And yes, he's still getting high-level coaching. I understand that. And he also professionally, as he mentioned, has the idea that if you sit on the bench, then your market value goes down, right? So, of course, youth players aren't going to experience their market value going down, so to speak. But the experience of playing in games is so important. That is how you learn. So just for some food for thought for those parents that get worried if their player goes down to the B team in their club or has the conflict of either staying with the better team and not playing and playing with better players, or going down and getting playing time with quote-unquote weaker players where they're playing a lot of the time. Just some food for thought, not trying to force a decision, but this is the experience a lot of professionals have all over the world. Their coaches know they need to play as much as possible in competitive games. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I have some really exciting guests coming up in the near future. As always, you can reach out to me, Gabe, at aclearmind.com, and you can connect with me on social media. You can find those links on my website, aclearmind.com. All right, thanks for listening. Much love to you and many blessings.